note, three vowel symbols are combined to get the symbol, the sound A, E, and A. Thus, we have A as in prayer, layer, and player. We have hour as in flower, power, and hour. We have ewe as in slewe, lewer, etc. We have oye as in annoyance and lawyer. Section II Consonants. A consonant may be voiced or voiceless. Voiced consonants, as the name implies, are articulated as a result of vibration of the vocal cord known as Adam's apple, so that the intonation of the voice is heard more loudly. Examples of voiced consonants are: we have J, we have B, we have V, we have Z, and Z. As you could hear, the sounds have vibrations. Voiceless consonants are consonant sounds which are produced without vibration, so that their intensities are much lower than the voiced consonants. Examples of voiceless consonants are: we have and we have sh, etc. Now, I want you to note the difference between the voiced consonants and the voiceless consonants. Now, make a comparison between the sounds pronounced. This is Z. Z. The voice is deep in order to bring out the vibration, unlike sound like S, which is very light as a result of lack of vibration. Section E. Consonant clusters. Consonants, unlike vowels, may follow one another in a syllable to form a cluster of consonants. A cluster is a small group formed by two or more items. When two or more different consonants occur at the same position in a word, they form consonant clusters. Examples of consonant clusters are: we have two consonants, B and R. They are joined together to form a consonant cluster. The consonant cluster occurs in words like pray, preach, interpret, etc. Then we have consonant cluster like stir, S, T, and R, such as in strange, constrain, and stress. We have another consonant cluster like ink, two sounds and k. To have words like think, sink, and ink, we have gr, as in congregate and congress. We have kr, as in synchronize, chronicle. At this point, I want you to note something. The sound, whether vowel or consonant, need not necessarily occur in words that have the same symbol or letter. For instance, this is K and R, which gives us kr. And then when you look at this word, what you see is CHR. It is not similar to K and R. Then we have other consonant clusters such as sh, sh. The sound sh and n. They are meshed together to have sh, as in education, comprehension. We have as in stump and lump. We have que, as in choir, quench, etc. Part 3. Vowels. Section A. Introduction. It is important to state here that although there are as many as 20 vowel symbols, there are only 5 vowel sounds in English. The 5 vowel sounds are A, E, I, O, and U. This is because none of the 20 vowel symbols has a completely different sound from the 5 basic vowels. This part of the teaching, therefore, classifies them into 5 in accordance with the 5 basic vowels as follows: A, E, I, O, and U. Now, the 20 vowel symbols are classified according to the sounds they belong. For instance, in the A group, we have sound like A. It is not actually the same thing as A, but it has a similarity with the sound A, hence it is classified under the sound A. We have another A sound like A, a long vowel. We also have in the A column we have E. It is not actually pronounced as E, but it has some similarity with the sound E. Thus, it is classified under the A column. We have another A sound like and. The sound is pronounced as though one is answering a call, or making or giving an agreement. We have another A sound like A. We have another A sound like A. In the E column, we have an E sound like the long vowel E. We have in the O column an O similar sound like O. Well, the sound O is actually the same as O. Why? Because the sound O, as it is pointed, does not actually exist in English phonetics. So the O sound we have in English is O. It is, for the sake of understanding, that the 5 basic vowels have been used to classify the 20 vowel sounds. We have another one like O, a long vowel. We have in the U column U, a long vowel as well. Then we have other vowel symbols, which are actually combinations of 2 or more of the vowel symbols, the 5 vowel symbols. Such vowels include I. I is actually a combination of 2 vowel sounds, which are A and E. We have sound like A, which is a combination of A and E. We have vowel sound like E, which is a combination of A and E. We have sound like I, which is a combination of E and O. We also have other vowel sounds like OW, which is a combination of A and U. We have EW, a combination of E and U. We have sound like UE, a combination of E and U. The classification above is not very precise. It is a way of helping learners realize the vowel symbols. This is because cardinality of vowels exists. The concept of cardinal vowels is like that of cardinal points in a compass. A compass usually has the north, south, east, and the west. As the north has northwest and south, southwest, because of nearness. That is how a cardinal vowel like A has near sounds in English as A, and as you could hear, the sounds are similar, but not exactly the same. A cardinal vowel like A has near sounds as A, etc. It is these resemblances that cause Nigerians as speakers of English as L2 to pronounce man as man. They pronounce the word man as man. There are no particular rules guiding the pronunciation of words in English. However, some words usually follow a specific pattern in their pronunciation. Thus, one could know the possible correct pronunciation for a word if he knows the pattern in which such word or similar words follow. Section B. Vowels that have a sound. Subsection I. Vowel A. Many words beginning with the letter A have vowel A as phonetic symbol. Hence, the letter A should be pronounced correctly as A. Examples of words that contain the sound A include, we have words like allow and not allow. We have away and not away, about and not about, asleep and not asleep, agenda and not agenda, ability and not ability, above and not above, adjust and not adjust, afraid and not afraid, alive and not alive, apologize and not apologize, appoint and not appoint, avoid and not avoid, apostle and not apostle, attention and not attention, it and not at, abroad and not abroad, abuse and not abuse, accuse and not accuse, addition and not addition, as and not as, assist and not assist, available and not available, awake and not awake, await and not await, attract and not attract, afresh and not afresh, affect and not affect, alike and not alike, and not an, assignment and not assignment, assembly and not assembly, aside and not aside, around and not around, arrange and not arrange, arrive and not arrive. Please note that the underlined letter contains the sound. For words ending in ER, letter E is realized as the sound. Hence, it should be pronounced as a sound and not a sound. Examples are teacher and not teacher, preacher and not preacher, number and not number, builder and not builder, letter and not letter, keeper and not keeper, listener and not listener, farmer and not farmer, suffer and not suffer, prosper and not prosper, hair and not ha, speaker and not speaker, lecturer and not lecturer, mother and not mother. Please note that the underlined letter contains the sound. For most words ending in A, AR, or ARD, the A sound is pronounced as a sound because the phonetic symbol is A. Examples of words in that category are we have data and not data, formula and not formula, bacteria and not bacteria, camera and not camera, phenomenon and not phenomena, curricula and not curricula, criteria and not criteria, arena and not arena, stadia and not stadia, pneumonia and not pneumonia, algebra and not algebra, scholar and not scholar, sugar and not sugar, singular and not singular, backward and not backward, forward and not forward, upward and not upward, steward and not steward, coward and not coward. Please note that the underlined letters contain the sound. The phonetic symbol of words ending in I-T-Y is A at the E position. If a word ends in I-T-Y, pronounce the E correctly as A sound. Examples of words in that category are: we have electricity and not electricity, community and not community, creativity and not creativity, productivity and not productivity, impossibility and not impossibility, simplicity and not simplicity, severity and not severity, necessity and not necessity, charity and not charity, functionality and not functionality, purity and not purity, sanity and not sanity, security and not security, majority and not majority. Please note that the underlined letters contains the sound. Another group of words having a consonant at the end that is preceded by OU have A as phonetic symbol. The OU should thus be pronounced correctly as A sound. Examples are: we have continuous and not continuous, color and not color, favor and not favor, endeavor and not endeavor, precious and not precious, suspicious and not suspicious, miraculous and not miraculous, gracious and not gracious, conscious and not conscious, honor and not honor. Please note that the H sound is silent. Hour and not hour. The H sound is also silent. Please note that the underlined letters signify where the sound occurs. For most words ending in UAL, ACY, APHY, TANT, ARY, TANCE, or RAL. The A should be pronounced correctly as A. Examples are, we have words like contextual and not contextual, continual and not continual. Our sound here is pronounced as A rather. We have actual. We have agricultural and not agricultural, liberal and not liberal, humanitarian and not humanitarian, annual and not annual, circumstance and not circumstance, substance and not substance, legacy and not legacy, biography and not biography, cultural and not cultural, pharmacy and not pharmacy, sustenance and not sustenance, salary and not salary, dispensary and not dispensary, allowance and not allowance, attendance and not attendance, obituary and not obituary, oral and not oral, geography and not geography, dictionary and not dictionary, ordinary